Good evening. Some long-running problems at Milford Sound are close to being solved. A consortium's been looking at ways to develop facilities at one of our biggest tourist attractions, and they've come up with a new set of plans. As Kim Haring reports, they're designed to relieve congestion and give tourists the standard of facilities they're used to at international resorts.
The paradox of Milford Sound is that it can be the most peaceful place on earth, or it can be as busy as downtown Dunedin. The congestion is partly due to a shortage of facilities. There have been reports of 100 people queuing for one toilet.
The new plan will develop day facilities to get rid of the congestion that exists, especially in the summer months in Milford, with car parking and interaction of pedestrians and tourists.
It involves some reclamation, and the biggest changes will take place at the boat harbour. Now the only problem is where to get the $13 million it'll cost. The consortium hopes some will be borrowed, some will come from levies on boat trips, and some from local or central government.
We feel that Milford Sound is very important, not only for the tourism industry but nationally, and we hope that they will come to the party.
This valley may also provide the key to future prosperity at Milford. If a road is built here connecting Milford in the south with Haast in the north, even more tourists may come. But the Forest and Bird Protection Society says a road through here will only hasten the departure of tourists from our region.
It would provide a link, but I don't believe that link is in the tourist interest or in the interest of the region.
But at Murray Guns Camp on the proposed route in the Hollyford, this project is considered top priority. And in the end, it may be the determination of an enthusiastic Minister of Tourism that'll make it happen. How hard will you push for the road to go through?
As hard as I possibly can.
Wallace County's fight over a local government reorganisation in Southland is going to the Court of Appeal. The county's not happy about the way its boundaries were reorganised. The case was to be heard in the High Court in Wellington today, but both the county and the Local Government Commission agreed it should go to the Appeal Court. A hearing's likely next month and will follow a similar case involving Devonport. A community initiative to provide jobs in Invercargill is about to be launched. The Chamber of Commerce has been working with the Employment Resource Centre for months, setting up a company which it's hoped will help new enterprises get started and give employment a boost. Kathy Graham reports.
With unemployment running at about 10% and little prospect of new jobs opening up in the near future, community leaders are keen to do what they can to provide more job opportunities. Invercargill businesses and the various agencies working with the unemployed have collaborated to set up an organisation which will pool resources and expertise.
What we're looking at is a partnership between the Employment Resource Centre and the Chamber of Commerce and other private sector business groups, individuals and individual businesses to provide a one-stop shop concept which will facilitate the growth and development of Southland business and employment opportunities.
The Chamber of Commerce has already helped establish 18 small businesses locally, and there are lots of ideas for schemes that the Resource Centre's working on.
And let's face it, unemployment and all of those sort of problems is community problems, and the community together can solve them.
Solo and Sludge moved to a new home today. If you don't already know, they're a couple of rare yellow-eye penguins recuperating on the north coast of North Otago. And today they came a little closer to returning to the wild. Kim Haring reports.
Now they're getting a bit of speed, aren't they? This is pretty.
Sludge and Solo have been roommates for nearly 2 weeks. Now they're moving to greener pastures in preparation for the big step back to sea.
On your way.
Solo's behaviour at this stage has been watched very carefully. He's been imprinted on humans. Twice he's turned up out of territory in Wellington. Now if he turns and walks back to these people, it hasn't worked. But after a little familiarisation with the new turf, he strides off to join his new friend, Sludge. She had an accident with some oil, but is ready to return to sea tomorrow.
Then in the last 3 days, he has completely done a turnaround and relates to Sludge, doesn't follow me around for food, and shows the normal signs now of wanting to go to sea.
A bit of posturing means they're at home, but tomorrow Sludge will head off to sea without Solo. Solo will get his moment of truth later in the week. When he goes, all eyes will be watching to see if he turns north or south.
The country's first serious bungee jumping accident at the weekend has led to a renewed call for the government to set safety guidelines. At present, bungee jumping seems to fall outside most existing legislation. The calls come from Queenstown bungee pioneer AJ Hackett and is supported by the Occupational Safety and Health Service, formerly the Labour Department. Mark Price reports.
Experienced bungee jumper John Chitty is in a stable condition in Kew Hospital in Invercargill. He hit the ground while practising in Queenstown before the opening of the town's winter festival. The bungee jumping show went ahead despite a Labour Department request for it to be cancelled. There were no mishaps during the performance. Today, the injured man's employer, bungee pioneer AJ Hackett, explained what went wrong.
Now, what happened on Saturday is Moki didn't clip this end into his harness. Now, when the bungee stretched out to its maximum length, just before he was about to go back up into the air, all of the loading is then on, the maximum loading. So this safety line unravelled out of his harness, the bungee shot up into the air and Moki fell 6 metres to the ground.
He's been pushing the government to draw up a safety standard for the sport.
It's paramount importance. We must get some standards together fast.
If we don't get those standards together?
If we don't, it'll be an innocent person in the public who's going to be hurt seriously, and we don't need it.
Mr Hackett was the first to offer bungee jumping to the public, but many others have followed. Ironically, the day of the Queenstown accident, there were reports from France that the sport there had been banned following 4 fatal accidents. The Occupational Safety and Health Service says in future bungee jumping from a crane would need to be registered under the amusement device regulations. But as for jumping from bridges and the like, it believes there's a need for safety standards to be developed.
But it wasn't just the experts who were dropping out of the sky in Queenstown at the weekend, also having a go with the contestants in the festival's Snow Queen contest. It was a nervous group of young women who made their way onto the Kawerau Bridge. It's a long way down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The dozen contestants will be guests at festival events during the week before the crowning of the Queen on Saturday night. When it's all over, this event will be the one they remember.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh God, I'm glad that's over.
Quite right. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.